Tonight what we'll be doing is taking a look at the events that happen at a typical public safety training facility. We're going to start with a briefing, reviewing everything that'll happen. Then we'll go to the drill tower, which is used by all the responders, but tonight it'll be used by the police to do a rappelling and surface level entry. This is the drill tower that's used by various responder groups. Fire very often uses it for laddering exercises. Today we see SWAT members descending the building, doing a rappelling descent, coming down past the open window, and they'll be coming to the ground and establishing a ground perimeter. And they're just about down now. And as they come down and establish the perimeter, a second team will soon be coming down the building, and here they come now. Again, almost always there are two people involved in any kind of exercise to provide the teamwork. This element here will come down, probably be throwing a flash bang into the window, and then entering off the ropes into the window. There's the flashbang getting ready to go. And the flashbang is in there. And they're making the entry. Here's the ground entry team coming in, going in to apprehend the subject from both above and below. Now we're inside the burn building, which is essentially a large fireplace, fire brick, so it can be used many, many times. What we have in front of us is the pallets and straw that we use to light the fire, use for the fire fuel. Simply normal straw, untreated pallets, just wood that we have available to build the fire. And here comes one of the instructors coming in to set things up. You can see the attack crew ready. The instructor is now opening the window so we can see a little bit what's going on inside the fire room. And here comes the crew in, getting ready to extinguish the fire. We'll see here in a minute the fire stream, some of the smoke coming out of the window as they extinguish the fire. Now they're advancing to the door, and what we see here is smoke and steam coming out of the door as they do ventilation activities to get the hot gases out of the building. We're moving over to the hazmat area to do a simulation of a hazmat spill. Again, the responsibility of the hazmat team is to stop the spill, stop the spread of the material. They're coming in, doing their initial investigation. You see some of the meters that they're simulating using, getting the different readings. You see a little bit of smoke coming out there at the bottom of the one drum. We use dry ice and water to provide that simulation there, to make a little realism for it. This is what they call an overpack drum, that big yellow drum. They're bringing that in place, and now the goal of the exercise will be to get the 55-gallon drum into the overpack drum, and that will secure the situation. What's interesting here, of course, is they're doing all this in the protective suits, which makes things a little bit difficult. It's fairly hot tonight. You have to practice this many, many times so that if it's a real event, you can do it as quickly and as smoothly as possible. And now they'll be sealing up the overpack drum. Securing the area, they'll be going through a simulated decontamination line. All that was used here tonight was a little bit of water and dry ice. And we've moved over to simulate extinguishing a liquid fuel fire. Something like oil, gasoline, something like that. What we do to make it easier and cleaner is use propane, and we bubble that up through water. You see us now flowing foam onto the simulated fire. And again, it's simply propane, but very, very similar to the characteristics we see on a real liquid fuel. Flow a little bit of foam, fire goes out, and we're ready to clean up. Now we've changed the prop around. Now we're simulating a propane tank on fire. You see the vent out of the top from the overpressure. What they're doing now is flowing cooling water onto the tank to cool the tank, lessen the probability of an explosion from that. And they'll just continue to cool the tank until the fire starts to subside. And what we'll see next is that they're starting now to slowly open up that nozzle a little bit from the direct stream to more of a fog pattern. They'll start advancing in toward the fire, pushing it back with the fog stream, keeping the tank cool. And the lead firefighter will reach in there and actually turn the valve off, which will extinguish the fire. And they'll just continue to do that. Now they're back to the cooling mode, trying to keep the tank as cool as they can. You see the fire starting to go down a little bit already. And again, all we're using on this is propane. Now again, you start to see the fog pattern coming in there a little bit, which will allow firefighters to advance there. It's opening up pretty nicely now. And the trick of the exercise here is you got 5 firefighters there, and they have to handle 2 hose lines and move as one unit to move safely forward to turn the valve off. And that's what they'll be doing here. And what we have here is patient extraction out of a vehicle wreck at the vehicle rescue area. See the patient there behind the wheel. They've already taken out the glass. You have one of the emergency medical technicians in the background with a blue helmet holding the head and neck steady. The problem they have right now is the roof is in the way, so they're going to be removing the roof using hydraulic tools. That's a rescue operation there, so we have both rescue people and emergency medical technicians. Second technician, they're protecting the patient with a blanket. And they're removing the roof now so that they can safely bring the patient out of the vehicle. You don't want to go in there and just grab the patient out. You want to make it a nice smooth operation onto the stretcher. Now the collar is being applied to the patient to provide additional neck stabilization. And they're bringing the patient now over on the stretcher, over toward the ambulance. At some point here they'll be getting vital signs, blood pressure, pulse, respiration, and they'll be sending that to medical command so the hospital will know what they have coming before the ambulance arrives at the hospital. What we've seen tonight are some of the typical activities that are done at any training facility and what we're proposing to do at the Chester County Public Safety Training Facility. It's a variety of exercises using different techniques, different props, so we can train together, so we can work together at the emergency scene.